Hello and welcome to Philosophy Vibe, the channel where we discuss and debate different philosophical ideas. Today we're going to be carrying on with Metaethics and looking at a very interesting topic known as Emotivism. Now, Emotivism is a non-cognitive approach to ethics. John, would you like to explain what non-cognitivism is?
So, non-cognitivism is the branch of metaethics which argues that there is no truth or falsity to moral language. All moral statements are not statements of fact. They are not subject to cognition, and therefore morality cannot be known.
Correct. Now, Emotivism is a branch of non-cognitivism developed by the philosopher A.J Ayer. Ayer argued that because moral statements are not truth-apt, all moral statements are just an expression of a person's belief. Moral statements are not themselves true in any way. Moral statements are in fact meaningless. All a moral statement is a person's feeling or emotion towards a certain situation. So if someone says stealing is wrong, all they're in fact saying is I believe stealing is wrong. However, stealing is wrong as a statement is neither true or false. It is a meaningless statement. Emotivism has also come to be known as the boo-hurrah theory. As moral statements are just an expression of feeling, saying stealing is wrong, it's just in fact saying boo stealing. Or if I say giving to charity is good, it's the equivalent of me saying hurrah charity.
Wow, that's quite a radical approach to ethics.
Agreed, but there are some interesting points to think about. A.J Ayer was part of a wider philosophical thought known as logical positivism. Logical positivists believe that a statement is only truth-apt if it is either an analytic statement or a synthetic statement. This is known as the verification principle. An analytic statement is one that is true by the meaning alone. Like me saying a bachelor is an unmarried man, it's true by definition. A synthetic statement needs empirical evidence to be proven right or wrong, something that can be tested by the five senses. So if I say there is a tree at the bottom of the road, you can go and empirically verify if that statement is true or false.
Yes, I see.
Now, Ayer argues that moral statements are not analytic, but nor are they synthetic. We cannot prove moral statements right or wrong by using empirical evidence. Someone may say stealing is wrong, but how can we empirically test that? Sure, we might be shown the effects of stealing on the victims and the emotional damage it causes, but this is not empirical proof that stealing is wrong. It might be proof that stealing causes emotional damage, but not that it's wrong.
Yes, I see.
So then, stealing is wrong becomes neither a true statement or a false statement, but a meaningless one, and just the expression of feeling by the individual saying it.
I still don't feel truly satisfied in thinking all morality is just feelings and there is no truth to any of it.
Well, let's look at the strengths of emotivism. Firstly, it doesn't suffer any problems from Moore's open question argument. Do you remember this?
Yes, this was the argument that any attempt to reduce moral statements to natural statements is a mistake, and morality cannot be defined in natural terms.
Correct. Well, as we see, emotivism does not try to say moral statements are analytically equivalent to natural statements. As they are just a person's feeling, there is no truth or falsity attached.
But Moore argued from a cognitive position of ethics. He claimed moral statements could still be known through our moral intuition.
Yes, but according to Ayer, a moral intuition does not meet the verification principle, so we have no basis to believe in it.
Right, I see.
Also, emotivism better explains why we have moral disagreements that can never be resolved. How can two people both believe they are morally right and yet never agree on what that is? It is because morally right does not exist, it is just two different beliefs from two different people. Emotivism also explains how different cultures and different time periods can have different attitudes to morality. Once upon a time, infanticide was commonplace in Sparta, where sick or deformed babies were cast out to die. Now, something like this would never happen. Arranged marriages are commonplace in some cultures, but seem oppressive and wrong in others.
I understand, but doesn't emotivism just oversimplify morality and reduce moral statements to something trivial? We know moral statements are important in shaping one's world and one's culture. If they are nothing more than an expression of feeling, then saying murder is wrong holds the same value as saying I dislike tomato ketchup. But we know moral statements are so much more important than that.
Good point. Here I would like to raise C.L. Stevenson's emotivism. Stevenson agreed that moral statements hold a lot more value than what emotivism initially makes out. Stevenson argued that moral statements were in fact deeply held beliefs, so not just an expression of emotion, but a more important feeling. It is because of this that when people make moral statements, we're expecting others to agree, to adopt our deeply held beliefs and act how we expect humanity to act. Moral statements are meant to influence the behaviour of others, and this is why morality is so important.
I see.
R.M. Hare also developed his prescriptivism theory as a branch off of non-cognitivism, but very much mirroring emotivism. Hare argued that when one makes a moral statement, they are not just expressing their belief, but they are prescribing or recommending a course of action, a way one should behave. So unlike emotivism, moral statements are not just describing one's belief, they are also prescribing a universal way a certain person wants you to act. So when someone says murder is wrong, what they're really saying is, I do not like murder, and I think no one should ever murder.
Okay, emotivism in general has some good points. However, Ayer, Stevenson and Hare still ultimately believe that moral statements are not subject to truth or falsity. If we follow this line of thought, we still actually have no reason to ever act in a moral way, as there is no morally right or morally wrong behaviour. Genocide, murder, theft, all of these are not technically morally wrong. Human beings then have no true code to live by, no true code to their behaviour.
Yes, I see.
However, the biggest problem with emotivism is the verification principle itself.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. The verification principle states that a statement can only be truth-apt or only have meaning if it's an analytic statement or a synthetic statement, i.e. empirically verifiable.
Yes.
Well then, the statement itself, a statement can only have meaning if it's an analytic statement or a synthetic statement, is not an analytic or synthetic statement.
Oh, I see.
The statement then becomes meaningless and the verification principle fails at its own criteria. If emotivism is built on that principle and the principle fails against itself, then how can we follow the emotivist line of thought?
Yes, I understand.
The verification principle then becomes a meaningless statement, and the reason why I think emotivism fails.
Well, that's a good point, but that's all the time we have for now. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the vibe. What's everyone else's thoughts on emotivism? Do you think that morality is just an expression of emotion, or is there something more to it? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and help grow this channel. Thanks again. Until next time.